Another week went by without a word from Potsdam. At this point, though, we were beginning to realize that we were going to have to sort things through on our own. We can't stay here any longer, Hieronymous says with a sigh. I've been managing what meager duties I can from here, but there is too much that requires my attention elsewhere. So let's go then, I tell him. Let's go to Shetlock or wherever else we're needed. I'll be right by your side the whole time. I know, Tori, he replies with a soft smile, but that is far from the only thing that concerns me at the moment. The fact that Potsdam has yet to respond to your friends is troubling, and if she catches wind that we are traveling about, she will wonder why we haven't yet obtained your diploma. It's not any of her business, I mutter petulantly as I cross my arms over my chest. Regardless, I want to benefit from your wisdom here. You know what duties a viscount must perform much better than I do. If you say we need to get to work, we need to get to work. Unless you want to visit Potsdam first? I think it might be wise, Hieronymous says reflectively. It will be that much easier to focus on our duties once we put this behind us. I am concerned about you, though, Tori. You haven't been feeling well this past week, and I don't want to cause you any more stress than you've already experienced these past few months. It's life. I'll deal with it, I tell him flatly, but Hieronymous seems unimpressed by my answer. Or, rather, we'll deal with it together. That's much better, Hieronymous replies with another soft smile. I am worried about you too, though, I remind him. Remember, you haven't been stressed out at all since you've woken up. You haven't had to fight anyone yet. We don't know how strong you are or how much you'll be able to deal with. I wouldn't suggest going if I didn't feel that I could properly defend both you and myself, Hieronymous insists. Maybe there's strength in numbers, I offer. How do you feel about Minnie, Virginia, and Jacob going with us? Hieronymous pauses as he considers this for a moment. I'm not sure, Tori. I'm really not. If Potsdam wants to stay in my good graces, it is possible that she will turn over your diploma without a fuss and not draw us into whatever spat she has with them. I can't help but frown at him. I don't understand. Are you saying now that you don't want to help my friends? They're only in this situation because they wanted to help you. They're only in this situation because my father put them in danger, Hieronymous argues. Regardless, they knew the risks. They knew that they shouldn't enter the other world without special permission, I remind him. They had your permission to enter the other world over Thanksgiving break, and that was okay. So when they got it from Aloysius, they thought everything would be fine. I had to secure Potsdam's approval first, Hieronymous reminds me. Do you think my father bothered to check with her before he decided to throw you to the lions head first? No, but... I let my voice trail off as I notice that Hieronymus's face is set and his fists are shaking. Hieronymus, I love you. He blinks and his expression softens. His fists loosen at his sides. I love you too, Tori, but what's brought this on? You were starting to get mad, I tell him, almost a bit nervously. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay. A small smile tugs at the corners of Hieronymus's lips. Yes, Tori, I am angry. I am angry that my father tried to trade your life for mine. I can't imagine what I would have done if I woke up only to discover that you sacrificed yourself for me. You would have come after me, I tell him with a simple shrug of my shoulders. You would have come to save me. I don't doubt that. It would probably have been a lot harder to wake me up, though. Oh? Hieronymus asks as he raises an eyebrow. What do you suppose you would have dreamt of? You, I say with a slight giggle, as if this should have been obvious. And I don't know. I don't know the setting. Maybe on a beach in Hawaii, like where we went with Bej on spring break. He would be there too. And all of my friends. We would all hang out together and get ice cream and go swimming, and then we'd all watch movies and play video games together until it was time to go to bed. Then they would go to bed, and you and I would have our own fun together. His bemused expression doesn't falter. And I would join you in these adventures, I assume? Of course, I reply. I don't know what flavor of ice cream you'd get, but you've already proven you're a fantastic swimmer. Or you could read books on the beach while Virginia and I tried to hop waves, and you would shake your head the way you do when I fell face first into the sand. I don't know how you do at video games, though. You would be amazing at strategy games. Racing, probably not so much. You seem to have given this some thought, Hieronymous muses, but I just shrug. It would be fun for a while, but I could see how reliving the same day over and over again could get boring, I admit. Plus, once you entered my dream and told me what was going on, there was no way I wouldn't wake up. There's no way I would ever just leave you alone here. Yes, well, Hieronymous just shrugs uncomfortably. If we are going to see Potsdam soon, then we should probably make sure there is nothing left unsaid between us. Nothing left unsaid? I shake my head. What do you mean? Hieronymous seems to struggle with himself for a moment before he seems to decide to just get everything all out in the open. Tori, when I first woke up, you were treating me, quite rightly, I'd assume, like a wounded animal. I did not expect you to open up to me so soon or so suddenly, but after you did, you have been speaking of us as a team and have shown unwavering devotion to me. If you are still hurt over my infidelity, I would rather we talk about it. I pause for a moment as I try to think it over. True, I had been hurt, but for some reason, even when I thought of Violet, I didn't feel upset or jealous. I didn't get that sinking feeling in my chest that I usually did. Maybe I felt better because Hieronymous had finally chosen me over her and he was no longer mourning her loss. Maybe I felt better because I had finally found out the truth about their relationship. I hadn't known that he was keeping anything from me, but maybe I had been able to sense that he had been holding back, and now that everything was out in the open, there were no more secrets. At least, not about her. Is there anything else you have to tell me? I ask him. Any secrets from your past? Anything you want to open up to me about? Anything else about Violet? Hieronymous is quiet as he just shakes his head. Not that I can think of. I just want to make sure that we put up a united front against Potsdam. We have no idea what we are getting into. That's true, I admit before I hesitate, and Hieronymous waits patiently for me to go on. I haven't used the scrying orb since I know it makes you uncomfortable, but I want to take a look now. It might give us some guidance as to what we can expect when we go. Is that okay? Hieronymous looks fearful for a moment before his face rests in a scowl. You know how I feel about you using that, Tori. I can't help but cast my eyes down to the floor as I let out a dejected sigh. But as long as I am here to watch over you, I suppose you could try. I shoot a tight-lipped smirk in his direction as I head over to the bottom drawer where I had hidden it in my old horse hall uniform. I pull it out and sit cross-legged on the floor, setting it in front of me. Hieronymous scoots off the desk chair to sit down across from me, looking into the orb as well. Is there anything you see? I ask Hieronymous, but he just shakes his head. It's black, he says. Why? What do you see? Nothing yet, I tell him. I stare at it for a while, looking into the swirling blue and purple vortex that seemed to be its dormant state, before it suddenly turns white. It's not glowing with light, but it's like the inside of the orb was suddenly filled with a solid white. It stays like that for a solid breath, before it suddenly turns back to the blue and purple vortex. Tori, Hieronymous asks urgently. Tori, what's wrong? What did you see? I blink and shake my head to clear it. Reluctantly, I pull my eyes away from the orb to look up into Hieronymus's anxious face. I'm not sure. You're not sure? He repeats dubiously. Tell me what you saw. It was white, I tell him. Just blank. Just solid white. And then it went back to normal. I'm not sure what it meant. It didn't feel scary or foreboding, though. I'm not honestly sure what it meant. Hieronymus just shakes his head. And now you can see why I have so many reservations about you using this. These images are only going to unnerve you, and you are under enough stress as it is. I guess you're right, I say as I shake my head and quickly return the orb to its resting place. I'm not sure what the color white is supposed to mean, but unless Potsdam has suddenly dyed her hair, I don't think it's related to her in any way. Then we will resume our original plan of presenting a united front and making sure that we support each other as best as we can, he continues. Remember, Tori, if she senses any doubts, she might use that to try to drive a wedge between us, and we cannot risk being divided now. I pause for a moment, coming to a sudden realization. Hieronymus? I think I have an idea.